Hey guys, we're finally back for part 3 of the Volkswagen Jetta stall when driver's door opened case study. Sorry for the delay there, but the customer just brought the car back, and let's see if we can finish this up. So if you remember last time, we left off with the whiteboard of knowledge here, dissecting this fuel pump relay, and the conclusions or the test that we wanted to do on the car right now is, one, see if this door switch is intermittent, because sometimes the car would run when the door is open, sometimes it wouldn't. So I just want to make sure when the switch is open that the little door ajar warning light on the dash comes on and the chime comes on, and then when that happens, then the car definitely doesn't start or run. So let's do that check first, just to be 100% confident here that we have the right complaint. So with the key in, you can see the door ajar switch is right there and the chime is on. So right now the car should not start. Okay, that's confirmed. Now let's see if we close and open the door a couple times, if that light, okay, that works. It seems to be working pretty consistently. But what I've noticed is there's no button on the door jamb like most normal cars. The switch is actually in here. So if this isn't quite in the right position, you can see it just turned off just by me fiddling with this little latch mechanism. Like right there. Well, of course it works on camera. So now it seems to be working consistently, but before it wasn't quite consistency. A little movement there, and it's temperamental. Okay, so now that we've at least confirmed that our door switch works and the problem is 100% related, it's not intermittent, or at least as far as the fuel pump relay goes, let's get to this relay and do some checks. Alright, so going after our fuel pump relay. See all the crap you have to take off to just get to one relay? We got some plastic, metal shield, a whole bunch of torque screws. Excuse me. Alright, according to the diagram, the relay for the fuel pump should be in position number 4, and that is this guy right here. 898050 12 volt 40 amp. Now, looking at clues, see all these ones, they have big fat numbers written on them, and if you look close you'll see they're either branded Volkswagen, Audi, and you got the four rings on there. Let's see, get you a close up of this white one. Yep, that's factory. 173. Yep, that's factory. So all of them look, if they have German written on it, that's safe to assume that it's factory. But what about this guy? The fuel pump relay does not look factory. Let me just pull it out of here, see what's going on. Got our little picture here, and absolutely no branding whatsoever. So, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag here, but I assume this is our problem. If you do a Google search, people just replace their fuel pump relay, for oh, it's getting old, might as well replace it, and they get one from like AutoZone. Then they start having this issue, and then they go on the forums and they ask, what's going on? All I did was change a relay, why is this problem happening? Well, do you think it's a coincidence? whatever's inside here, you can see it's a 7-pin relay. It is not your standard, you know, $10 4-pin relay. Do you know how much this one from Volkswagen cost? Yeah, I called the dealer up. Almost $100 for this little thing. Nuts. I thought it'd be like, okay, maybe 30 or 40, but man, I couldn't even get it ahead of time since, you know, I assumed this would be the problem. And they can't like restock it. You can't return it. So let's do a couple further checks on this and see if, you know, if the computer's turning this on and if we're actually missing the feed on, you know, pin 87, which goes to all the injectors and the fuel pump and the evap solenoid and the O2 heater. So maybe I'll just back probe that terminal and we'll see if our feed is missing at the relay while the computer's, you know, trying to turn it on, and then we'll call this relay. Okay, so I have the scope hooked up. Like I said, channel 1, channel 2, and channel 3 are monitoring these 3 pins on the fuel pump relay. And I'll show you the hookups here. So there's the relay, and I have the pins, you know, probed with 90-degree needles, and the relay is plugged in. And here's our readout. So 3 channels. Okay. So first, let's just try keys out of the ignition. Close the door. So channel 3, which is monitoring the door switch pin, went high, which is what we expect. We open the door. That pin should be grounded. So our door switch circuit works perfectly fine. And one thing that kind of surprised me is if we put a test light on that pin right now, you'd expect the test light to light because, you know, it's the door is closed and the switch should be grounded, so that should be a direct path to ground. But check this out. So right here I just have kind of like a T, so when I touch this metal, the test light should light. So let's try that. Alright, so I'm touching test light to the metal. It's not lighting, but you can see our signal went high. I let it go. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have the door open, right? Okay, door's open. Same experiment. Touching the test light to that circuit, and the test light is connected to battery positive. I can prove this to you by touching on something metal, which is hard to find in some of these German cars, but there you go. As you can see, if I touch on this pin, it'll pull it up, but the test light's not lighting. So it looks like that door switch circuit is a high impedance circuit. Again, test light is not lit, but the circuit is pulled high. Let it go, and drop slow with a delay. Close the door, open the door. Okay, so now let's see what happens. So with the door closed, I'll start the car up, and we should see the yellow trace go high. You know, that should feed the fuel pump and the injectors. Now the green trace is our computer control, and I'm not quite sure what that will do, but let's just do the experiment. Alright, so here on the scope here, put the key in, turn the key on. Okay, so there's the fuel pump prime. You saw the yellow trace. Let me make this even slower here. 10 seconds. Okay. So again, key off. So you see that green trace, that's the PCM pin. When you turn the key on, it stays. Okay, so that went high, and we had the prime. Okay, now let's start it up. So That's our system voltage going up. So that green trace, again, stays low while the car is running. Now I'm going to open the door. What do we expect? The blue trace should drop, but nothing should happen to the yellow trace. That should stay high. That's it. So that event right there, when the door opened, we lost the feed to everything, you know, fuel pump, injectors, all the other stuff on the load side of that relay. And that should not happen. I mean, that's it. The relay is not functioning correctly. That's what we can say 100% for sure. Now, you know, that green trace, I don't know what the PCM is doing there, but I don't think that's even a concern. So let me save this and we'll go from here. So just an overview of that sequence of events. So here we have the key. Let's see. So key is off. We turn the key on, we have a fuel prime right here. And the door is always closed at this moment. Now, see, the green trace went high right here, and then when I cranked the engine, it dropped low and stayed low while the engine was running. So my suspicion is when the key is on and that green trace is high, the fuel pump relay cannot energize because the car is not running. So, you know, we shouldn't have the fuel pump running at all, no matter, you know, what the situation is. So you can also think of that as a safety thing. So when the car is running, trace stays low, the PCM control pin, and then once our malfunction occurred, you know, door opened, fuel pump shut off, the green trace after a little delay went high again to prevent the pump from running in, you know, while the key is still on. So confirmed bad fuel pump relay. So let's see if we can fix this problem. So I bit the bullet here and got this relay. Well, it's not from the dealer. I got it online, but it said OEM, and you can see it's 409, so that's what the OEM looks like. And it says made in Hungary, so at least it's made in Europe. It's not made in China. And there's the diagram there. Very similar to the one, you know, the aftermarket one that's in there now. So let's quit wasting time and just plug this in and redo the same experiment. So we'll pull the old one out. So you can compare the pictures. It looks identical. I mean, pretty much, right? Okay, some of the numbers are different, but the pinout is the same. And here you can see how I put my probes into the pins that we're measuring here. So this is the main power feed right there. So this isn't spreading the terminals or anything. They're just really low profile probes. So let's pop this baby in. 409. Do it real carefully. I'm going to do this off camera. It's kind of hard to get in here. Alright, the replacement relay is in. Let's take another look at our scope. So shut the door. Same thing happens. Circuit goes high. Turn the key on. Got our fuel pump prime. Green trace is high, that's perfect. Start her up. Now the crank time is a little long because last time the car just quit running. Okay, moment of truth here. I'm going to open the door. The blue trace should drop. The yellow should not. Let's try it. Oh yeah. That's it. That's a fix. It's running. Door's open. So let's shut it off with the door open and see if it restarts. There we go. Key on. Got our prime. Okay, good. Alright, let's crank this. Starts right up perfectly. Door's still open. Shut the door. No problems. Well, that's it. Think I should tear this thing apart, put it in the garbage? So obviously the logic in here is faulty. Whatever's in this little control module, you know, with the 4 wires going to it. So that's shutting off the load side when you open the door. Junk. That's what you get for aftermarket stuff, you know. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it just causes more problems. I just watched the Scanner Danner Premium video on a case study with the Buick ignition problems, and well, let's just say whoever started swapping parts put in, you know, bad aftermarket parts, and they just caused so many other issues. And well, but it made for a great case study. You can't fault them for that. Well, of course, no diagnosis is complete without resetting the check engine light. I mean, we fixed the problem, but all these codes are still stored since they're intermittent. So remember, we had 12 trouble codes. The injector short to ground, you know, O2, evap, secondary air pump. But these 4, camshaft position sensor, opener short to plus, and the knock regulation limit. I think those could also be related, since if the fuel pump, injectors, whatever, cut out when the car doesn't expect them to, then, you know, you can get these erroneous codes too. So what I'm going to do is clear all the codes and, you know, take it for a test drive. Needs an oil change, so we'll do that, and after a good test drive, if nothing returns, then that'll be it for the video. If they do, I'll let you know. Alright, let's try that again. No codes present. Start up the car. Alright, no more check engine light. So make sure we didn't set any codes. Why did an error occur? Sometimes the Varus doesn't like when the keys cycled on and off, but I think we're good to go here. So alright. So if anything comes back, I'll let you know. But that's it. That's a fix. Thanks for watching, guys.